We're going to do somewhat of a fun one today. Well, at least fun for me. And I have always suspected Lindsey Graham and John McCain as having, well, shall we say, a much closer relationship than what we've been led to believe is just good friends. And we're going to look at random interviews and walks together and see if we can't see if they're just more than friends. And before the other starts hating, I really have nothing against gay people whatsoever. I do have something against liars. Shall we get started?
You and Senator Graham have criticized President Obama for being weak on...
They're both sitting like they're staged sitting. And I have already noticed something. We're going to wait to get to it. But while we're waiting, pay attention to Senator McCain, and then I'll go back when that time comes and show you what Graham does during this intro. And what I want you to pay attention to on Cain is where he's paying attention to.
Russia, President-elect Trump, he has repeatedly discussed a friendlier relationship with Russia, for instance, letting the annexation even of Crimea stand.
Okay. Now it just happened. We're going to go back. And if you notice that whole time while you were watching McCain didn't look anywhere else but towards the interviewer. Now, look at Graham and where his eyes goes.
With Russia, for instance, letting the annexation even of Crimea stand.
Towards McCain. On letting the annexation of Crimea stand. Are we on with that? That's that look of, am I agreeing with you? Or are we on this page? Is this okay? You're looking to your superior, or in this case, as I suspect, you're looking towards your husband. Hey, honey, we decided this, right? Now that's one thing as far as who wears the pants in this relationship. It's McCain. Let's move on.
Presumably on the classified intelligence that led to that assessment.
And here again, you see Graham looks towards McCain yet again. Pay attention to the eyes, where he looks to on this question.
Presumably on the classified intelligence that led to that assessment.
Well, Jim, I think...
Looking towards McCain again. Always looking towards McCain. McCain does not look to Graham. Graham looks to McCain.
Well, what they're telling us is there's been a massive...
You know, we just saw this look. That one, right there, with McCain.
How concerned are they?
And it again, right there. That is not a looking to Graham approval of saying. That is a listening move that you would do to an inferior. What are you going to do? What are you saying? I'm listening. He's listening to Graham. Let's go on. Let's find some more stuff. This is Lindsey Graham and McCain here in Egypt for Morsi, for free and fair elections. And what I want you to notice in this one is where Lindsey stands compared to McCain. And pay attention to where shoulders are as far as in front or behind.
One of your suggestions was that political prisoners should be released.
Now he leaned forward and then went back behind the shoulder of McCain, which is where his strength comes from. Now, the reason why we say this is a much more intimate than just friendship. McCain didn't move away from him as to give him space. You know, he leaned forward, then he leaned back to behind McCain. Very close. McCain didn't budge. McCain stood there to be his rock, to be his better half, to be the husband. Let's watch this a little bit longer as it goes through.
Mohamed Morsi, the former president, among those people you'd like to see released?
My belief is that the American people...
Closer to McCain. McCain doesn't move away, doesn't give him room.
...through their Congress in this administration is not going to support an Egypt that doesn't transition to democracy. I believe Morsi was freely and fairly elected, and the way they governed created...
Even closer to McCain. McCain does not give him any room, but stands there yet again to be his rock. Of course, that picture says a lot right there. He leans towards McCain and is looking towards the interviewer. McCain is that husband mentality, and Graham is that wife mentality.
Great upheaval in this country. For the Muslim Brotherhood not to understand that the criticism coming their way is based on what they did is a huge mistake.
The most effective way of negotiating reconciliation is a judgment that should be made by the negotiators.
This is a good spot too, because we don't see McCain leaning towards Graham for strength. And it's that strong marriage type dynamic that you see. McCain wears the pants, Graham is the female, as far as mentality. And it's not to say it's bad that Graham leans on him as far as in a relationship sense. I'm just pointing out what the relationship is. This is not a friendship of give and take. This is a husband and wife mentality. Let's go find some more. And again, this is when they're in Georgia. And I don't mean the state of Georgia of the United States. I'm talking about the country. And notice the shoulder position again for Lindsey Graham to McCain, McCain to Lindsey Graham. And we'll watch this for a little bit so you can see how this plays out.
To South Ossetia to meet with some of the families and those who have been displaced by Russian.
Very, very close. Touching Graham behind McCain, that wife mentality. And McCain stands there, not giving him room. It's embraced because he doesn't even give a lean away to it at all. And he's done this multiple times where they've had this close relationship that we've seen on air. So that marriage aspect is there. And Lindsey Graham is the wife.
Aggression. We will continue to do everything we can to support the total independence and freedom and territorial integrity of the country of Georgia.
We've going to go back and tell our colleagues.
And you see all that little switch over. McCain let his wife in to have his say, but doesn't step away from him. He still gives him the closeness, and they're still touching.
What Russia's up to and the Baltics.
This is McCain in Afghanistan. And Graham's there too. He's standing off camera, but and you'll see him right here in the corner because he stands so freaking close to him. But I wanted to get this shot so you can see McCain when he stands with someone else. He's not standing close to him. He's not letting him touch him. They have a nice, respectful distance being squished in with reporters. And we'll let this play out so you can see the different dynamics than what you've been seeing.
There. We are going to have additional troops and additional help. There's a stalemate that exists, and we're going to need additional troops.
Now, there's another part of this video we're going to go to. McCain is going to see Graham, and he's about to get on the plane to leave, and apparently Graham is staying. Now, he sees Graham, and he immediately stops to go give goodbyes, but he looks at this camera before he does that. Pay attention because it happens pretty quickly. And then the look. We'll try that one more time so you can see it, and we'll slow it down. Graham. Okay, see Graham. Camera. See camera. Slow. Now he's just going to give a handshake. When you're checking for the camera, regardless of anything, you're checking to see, I might do something that I don't want on film. I need to watch myself, regardless of what it is. Let's play it full speed. Stuttered on walking away from Graham. Graham pats his arm as in to go because he notices. When you've been with someone and you're intimate, you're going to know your other half's body language. Or at least you should. And he's still stuttering, leaning backwards towards Graham. And Graham gives him a pat, and he stutters again back to Graham. Have a good trip. We'll let that play out the whole thing. And then you can now, I let that play out. You can see how that stuttering is better than me pausing it right in the middle of the stutter. Very intimate kind of relationship that they have. Husband-wife team. Now, I wanted to show Lindsey Graham as he stands with Cruz. So you can see the difference between him and everyone else and him and McCain. And right off the bat, you can see that he stands very close to Cruz.
Senator Cruz, there's some insinuation that maybe these leaks, these national security leaks.
But we see that he stands shoulder-wise in front of Cruz. He does not give him the same kind of following that he gives McCain with that behind mentality, that marriage mentality that goes with, hugging at the arm that a female normally does. It's more on the bounds of he stands equally with Cruz squeezed into this box of the TV screen. And we'll let this play out a little bit so we can watch.
Are actually coming from our intel community, and that's one of the reasons why Mr. Clapper called Donald Trump last night.
Well, listen, I don't know if there's any reason to think that's the case.
And you see Cruz move, and Lindsey Graham gave him room. Whereas when we watch Graham and Lindsey together, they don't move away from each other. They don't mind the bumping into each other. And you see the difference here. Lindsey doesn't look to Cruz, Lindsey looks away. Whereas in other ones, Lindsey looks to McCain. He doesn't look away from McCain. Well, we have seen some things for Lindsey Graham and McCain that would suggest that their relationship is a little bit more than just a really close friendship. And I'll probably be doing more on this because I was like, you know what? I really want to know. It's just so odd the way those two hang on each other. Go back in the comments and go vote for next week. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you liked it, leave a like. If you liked the content, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.